Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another video. So yeah, this one's going to be a video for my top 10 favorite Disney movies of all time. So Zootopia is coming out soon, or I think it's already out it may already be out by the time I post this video, because I'm making this video on Wednesday. It's going to come out this Friday, and I'm going to be watching it this weekend. So yay. So yeah, Zootopia comes out, and I basically wanted to do a video describing or saying my top 10 favorite Disney movies of all time. Now, similar to last year, right before Inside Out came out, I said my top 10 favorite movies for Pixar. Now I'm doing my top 10 favorite movies for Disney. So, yeah, for those who want to watch the list of top 10 Pixar movies, I'll leave an annotation somewhere here for those who want to check it out. Now, as always, I do have some honorable mentions, and yeah, picking top 10 is pretty hard, surprisingly, because Disney. So, yeah, and when Zootopia comes out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be within the top 10 somewhere. Maybe even an honorable mention, depending. It may bump off number 10 off the list. Who the hell knows? But yeah, now onto the honorable mentions. Frozen. Yeah, talk about kick-ass princess. Yeah, Elsa, I mean, she's technically a queen by the end of the movie, so I guess she's a kick-ass queen. So, yeah, but Anna's a princess, if I'm not mistaken, I think. Or at least she should be. So, yeah, they're both pretty kick-ass, and, I like the twist that they did, with Hans, pretty popular at this point, or, well-known, the plot twist at the end, Hans, instead of making him another cliche Disney prince, so to speak, they made him kind of into the antagonist and a villain, and it came kind of so out of left field. Now, but when I first watched Frozen, I already knew everything about Frozen. I watched it a few months ago, to be honest, for the first time. So I wasn't really that surprised because I already knew what was going to happen. But had I seen it when it first came out, when it was just first coming out, I'm pretty sure I would have been really surprised. Also, Olaf, probably one of the funniest characters and cutest characters Disney's ever made. I mean, Flynn Rider, I think I mentioned it in like just a minute ago, but Flynn Rider may have been one of the coolest characters they've ever created. Olaf is probably one of the cutest characters they've ever made. And Elsa, literally one of the coolest characters they've ever made. Like, literally. So, yeah, I mean, would she basically be classified as a mutant, I guess? I mean, if the X-Men existed, would she be a mutant? By that logic, I guess she would. I don't know. Ask how it should have ended. They may know. So yeah. Now, on to number 8. At number 8, we have Dumbo. Now, when you really look at the concept of Dumbo, it's really, in a way, kind of a tragedy. It's kind of tragic because you have Dumbo. He's born with these big ears, and he's always being made fun of because of the big ears. Then his mom is taken away, and in a way, it's kind of a tragedy, and it's so sad. But something that Disney's always so good at is the fact that they're able to make these kind of tragic and really dramatic and possibly downer movies kind of lighthearted for the children. And, always think about children. It's for the children. So, yeah, I mean, I really do like that aspect, how they're able to bring these, like, heavy situations, I want to say that Dumbo features abuse. I mean, I guess in a way when the mama elephant, when Dumbo's mom beats up on the humans, I guess that would be considered abuse, and then animal abuse when she's caged up, locked up. But I like the fact that they're able to kind of bring some of these concepts, and even when they bully Dumbo for his big ears, and or bring it into a light that everybody could watch and everybody could somewhat relate. And what's interesting about that is the fact that Zootopia is apparently supposed to have similar messages about racism, sexism, I guess animalism technically, since or speciesism, since it's technically about animals. But that's Zootopia. I will talk about that in my review. But yeah, I guess some of the concepts that were introduced in Dumbo are going to be further elaborated in Zootopia. Probably they weren't planning on it, and I'm probably just looking at a little bit into deep into the company itself or into the movies itself. But I just kind of find that really interesting. So yeah, Dumbo is probably one of their more mature films they've ever done. So yeah, now on to number 7, which would have to be. And at number 7, we have Pinocchio. Now, I actually wanted to put this higher on the list. Pretty hard, okay? And so, and just getting off Dumbo, when you're talking about kind of somewhat abusive movies or movies that show abuse, you can't really forget about Pinocchio. I mean, you want to talk about adult animated films. I'm not talking about hentai, but like this type of shit. I think Pinocchio kind of takes the cake. Zootopia may be like number 2 in that, but I think Pinocchio like tops everything when it comes to like the most darkest Disney movie possible, in my opinion. And yeah, like the most mature Disney movie and the darkest one. Like Zootopia could probably give a good run for its money, as well as Dumbo. But I think those are the top 3 most mature Disney movies they've ever done. Dumbo's, and I haven't seen Zootopia yet, but still. But yeah, Pinocchio is probably the darkest Disney movie they've made. I mean, for God's sakes, they have a scene where they turn a boy into a donkey, and I recently watched that scene, I watched the movie recently, and obviously that scene's there, and that still is somewhat traumatizing. And I'm almost 17 years old, so. Holy shit. Yeah, it's probably I want to say it's probably their darkest Disney movie. It's pretty arguable. I mean, it's arguable that it's not. You could argue that's probably not their most mature movie, especially with Zootopia and Dumbo, and possibly even Frozen. But I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to say that Pinocchio is definitely their darkest, if not one of their darkest Disney movies. I'm pretty sure Hunchback of Notre Dame could probably give it a run for its money for darkest. But yeah, yeah, it's pretty dark, and I think that's why it's kind of a turnoff. I think that's why it's kind of a turnoff for some people, because it is so dark. So yeah, but regardless, I still like Pinocchio, and. Yeah, I just kind of wish I could put it higher on the list. I just couldn't because me. So, yeah. On to what are we? Number 6? Yeah, I think that's next. On to number 6. Now, at number 6, we have Tarzan. Yeah, let's get back to something more lighthearted. Holy shit. Tarzan, pretty good. You could probably argue that the ending is pretty dark, though. Oh my god. I just realized how dark Disney could actually be. Like, is Disney secretly just really, really dark and fucked up? Actually, wouldn't be surprised. But, yeah, I mean, the ending is actually pretty dark when what the hell's the bad guy's name? Clayton. Basically hangs himself after cutting the vines. Holy shit. And I actually didn't even realize, true story. To be honest, whatever. I actually didn't realize that I realized that he died, at the end of the movie, but it wasn't until a couple months ago that I realized that he was hanged. I thought he just kind of fell to his death, and he just kind of fell off a cliff or something. Like I knew I thought he just fell from a tree off just to somewhere else that wasn't seen or whatever. And it was kind of assumed that he died. I actually didn't realize that he was hung until I looked further into it. And I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty dark. So yeah. But overall, it's actually a pretty good movie. I guess you could argue that all of Disney's movies are pretty dark to a certain extent, I think. But yeah, it's a great movie. It was actually one of my favorite movies, animated movies of all time. For the longest time. I think it was within my top 5 for the longest time. I think right now it'd be at my top 20. I'm not sure if it'd be top 10. I'm pretty sure it'd be top 20 for sure. But yeah, Tarzan, great movie. And when you talk, and again, when you want to talk about some great characters, pretty cool characters, Tarzan is definitely up there. I just like and I also like this interaction with him and the gorillas. One thing that I never understood is the gorilla he always hangs out with, his best friend. Is that a boy or a girl? Because I've heard people say it's a girl, but I honestly don't really know, to be honest. I can't but then I've also heard some people say it's a boy, it's a dude. So yeah, overall, Tarzan, another great movie. A dark ending though. So yeah, on to number 5. And at number 5, we have Aladdin. So yeah, as I said before, what's it called? Tangled was basically Aladdin in a different time period, but Aladdin was the original bad boy, like Disney bad boy, I guess. I assume, but let's be honest. I just kind of, find it funny how everybody just loves Aladdin, or at least from a female's perspective. How they always say Aladdin's so pretty cool and whatever. I don't think anybody's ever realized that he basically tricked Jasmine into marrying him. I just kind of find that a little bit funny. Yeah, it shows that Aladdin's a bit of a douchebag. So, yeah, Aladdin's a bit of a douchebag. At least Flynn Rider didn't have to trick his way into a woman's heart. So, yeah, but Jafar is probably one of the best Disney villains they've ever had. And he's so badass when you think about it, because every other Disney villain has their own song, Scar has, Be Prepared or whatever, when it's kind of Nazi nihilist shit. Most of the Disney villains have like their own song, and then you have Jafar, who says, "Oh yeah, I'll sing for, like 2 sentences for you," and he's like, "You know what? Fuck this," and he just goes on and takes over the genie. And what I like about it, aside from Robin Williams as a genie, probably one of the best voice acting performances ever. So great. And I heard that most of the genie's lines are ad-libbed, and when they were originally gonna go send it over to be nominated, or to be on the shortlist to be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, they couldn't, because what adapted screenplay? There is no adapted screenplay. Most of the screenplay was the genie talking, Robin Williams talking, and then someone reacting to whatever the hell he just said. So there is no adapted screenplay. So I could see that, especially with Robin Williams, and definitely one of Robin Williams' best roles, for sure. It's Robin Williams will be missed, and it's definitely one of his best roles. And I also do like how even when Jafar has the genie, or when the genie's captured by Jafar, he still doesn't switch his ideology. Like, he's doing this stuff to Aladdin. He's like torturing Aladdin, but he himself feels tortured because he doesn't want to do it, but he has to because Jafar is not his master. So I really did like, again, holy shit, Disney is dark. Oh my gosh. Again, I think it's just something we have to come to expect. I want to see how dark Zootopia gets. On to number, what are we, 4? Right? Is that right? Number 4? Sure, I guess. Okay, at number 4, we have Cinderella. Now, if you would have asked me where Cinderella ranks on my top 10 favorite Disney movies of all time, maybe a few months ago, I'd probably say maybe number 10 or just an honorable mention. The reason it came up to number 4 is because, first off, I've rewatched the Cinderella movie from 2015 a few times, and me watching the Cinderella movie from 2015, it's made me want to watch the original Cinderella, because, the 2015 movie was great, but every time I want to watch the original Cinderella, I need to watch the original Cinderella. It just gives me more appreciation for that. At the same time, at my internship, I finished it already. But I was doing a play for Cinderella. I was doing backstage stuff for Cinderella, and that also helped me appreciate Cinderella a bit more. And it just made me like the story of Cinderella as a whole. Despite the fact that I feel like Prince Charming is probably one of the most douchiest fucking characters they've ever created. Like, when you really think about it, Cinderella, like, if you want to pinpoint a villain in Cinderella, you could argue the stepsisters and stepmothers. No problem. I'd want to say there's one more villain in Cinderella, and that is the fucking Prince Charming. He is no Prince Charming when you really think about it. He is maybe one of the most douchebag characters they've ever created because he dances with Cinderella, which I find really funny. And I actually think I made a theory on this, or I made a discussion topic or a fan theory or whatever. And, every single Disney princess is a douchebag. And basically, the reason I think that I've always thought this, that Prince Charming is kind of a jerk or kind of a douchebag. He dances with Cinderella for about for presumably a few hours. Okay, he talks with Cinderella and everything. He gets to know her, but he doesn't even remember her name. He doesn't remember her name. And when she leaves, he doesn't even remember how she looks like. And he goes off, gets the glass slipper, and tries it on every single other maiden in the kingdom. And I'm like, there's so many ways to go wrong. Like, can't you just narrow it down? Like, go get me some blonde woman that's single that was at the ball yesterday. Couldn't you have done that? Even in the remake, they couldn't do that. And so yeah, I just kind of find that funny. Yeah, Cinderella number 4. At number 3, we have we have Wreck-It Ralph, a truly modern Disney classic. This is a modern Disney classics. When you want to talk about like Disney classics, you talk about Snow White, talk about Lion King, The Little Mermaid, everything in between. When you want to talk about modern Disney classics, you talk about Frozen, Tangled, Big Hero 6, and Wreck-It Ralph. I think out of all, up until now, I haven't seen Zootopia yet, but up until now, of all the modern Disney movies they've done, like post 2000 or 2000 or whatever, from 2000 forward, I feel like the best movie they've done is Wreck-It Ralph. And funny enough, it's probably the best video game movie anybody's ever done, or video game based movie. I'm pretty sure 2016 will give it a run for its money, since we have 4 video game movies coming out this year: Assassin's Creed, Warcraft, Ratchet & Clank, and Angry Birds. So yeah, but up until now, that's Wreck-It Ralph is like the best video game movie we've ever gotten, or video game based, or something like that. So yeah, and I really just like Ralph as a character, Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph or whatever, because he is the bad guy in his game. But I like that quote where they're at the beginning, you may be a bad guy, but you're not necessarily a bad guy. That's probably bad. Was it the Russian dude from Street Fighter who says it? I don't know that much about video games, so kill me later about that. But I really like that quote because it just shows how kind of not tormented, but how divided Ralph is, because he has to be the bad guy, but he doesn't want to be the bad guy. So I really did like it, and I really liked how, I guess you could argue, as he was having a midlife crisis since he was in the video games, since he's been in that arcade for about at least 60 years, from what I was counting at the beginning of the movie. So yeah, and I really did like how his redemption story, I guess. Would you consider that a redemption story? I mean, he leaves, has his midlife crisis, and then saves Vanellope. So I guess that is a redemption story as well. But yeah, Wreck-It Ralph, probably one of the best modern Disney movies they've done thus far. Then again, I still need to watch Zootopia, so who the hell knows how that's gonna go, and I'm really pumped for it. But taking a guess right now, which one's gonna be better, Zootopia or Wreck-It Ralph? I'm gonna stick to Wreck-It Ralph. However, if it is better than Wreck-It Ralph, I will say in my Zootopia review that this movie is better than Wreck-It Ralph. On to number 2, which would have to be Peter Pan. So yeah, number 2, Peter Pan. I just want to be a kid. Period. I mean, yeah. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I watched Pan last year. I didn't really mind it. I mean, I didn't think it was that great of a movie, but I didn't really think it was that shitty of a movie. I thought it was like a 6 out of 10. Okay, so and for some reason, watching Pan made me want to rewatch Peter Pan, and I liked it even more. And so yeah, same thing with Cinderella. I watched a movie that was similar to it, and it made me want to watch the original, and I liked it even more. Same thing, and then I watched Hook, made me want to watch the original, and it made me even like it even more. The thing is, I've always liked Peter Pan. It was always within my top 5. So yeah, now it's top 2. So yeah, Peter Pan. one of my favorite movies. Even when I was a child, I always liked Peter Pan. I always thought Peter Pan was kind of cool. You know how he's able to stay immortal. How he's able to fly, and Captain Hook. Captain Hook, how he's always able to beat up on Captain Hook, and the tick tock with crocodile. I always found how that was kind of pretty funny in my opinion. So yeah, I mean overall, I just really love Peter Pan. It's one of those childhood movies I've always just loved, and how can you not go wrong with Peter Pan? Okay, I mean it's Peter fucking Pan. God damn it. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Peter Pan. I mean, there are some fan theories that he's technically killing the lost children, and that he's an evil, immortal pixie, and that he's somehow related to Ariel from the Little Mermaid or some shit like that. So there are theories that show exactly how much of a douchebag he is. So yeah, but that's one the thing. Did I ever think that Peter Pan was a good guy? I mean, I always thought he was a good guy, but I always thought that he always had like these weird tendencies that like I don't think good guys should do that. Even when I was a child, I'm like, I don't think is that normal for the hero to do that? I'm like, I guess. Then again, I was like 7, so yeah. But like, I think he is a good guy, but I feel like he has his douchebag tendencies. So yeah. Now, just to go over the list one more time before I get to number 1. On my honorable mentions, I have The Fox and the Hound, Treasure Planet, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, James and the Giant Peach, The Great Mouse Detective, The Goofy Movie, or A Goofy Movie, The Jungle Book, Robin Hood, Big Hero 6, Bolt, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Meet the Robinsons, Alice in Wonderland, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, and 101 Dalmatians. From number 10 to number 2, I have Tangled, Frozen, Dumbo, Pinocchio, Tarzan, Aladdin, Cinderella, Wreck-It Ralph, and Peter Pan. So what is number 1? What can be my all-time favorite movie? Disney movie of all time? Well, let's be honest. It's maybe the most generic answer possible, but it's hard to deny that this is the best movie Disney has ever made thus far. So, at number 1, we have Lion King. So yeah, you could basically argue that this is Disney's version of Hamlet. I'm pretty sure, right, it's Hamlet, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that this is basically Disney's version of Hamlet. So yeah, that could not have, and I think this is the best interpretation of any Shakespeare story that there ever has been. Okay. I mean, there's been overkill of Romeo and Juliet to begin with. There's been an overkill of Romeo and Juliet, so we're not even going to touch those. And even after that, it'd probably be like Titanic, number 1, with a Shakespeare-ish plot. But when we want to go with a Hamlet-esque plot, I think there's no better movie than Lion King. So that's, and just, thinking, Disney and Shakespeare, how the fuck is that going to work out? Okay? So, yeah. Simba, it was great watching him grow up for like 5 seconds. But even after that, like the transitions, that was actually pretty good. And I think the best thing about this movie, I mean Disney movies in general, but the best thing about this particular movie is just the emotions it has on you. Because you watch Simba, he's talking to his dad, and he loses his dad. And then you have, Scar, who's trying to kill. He's trying to basically kill Simba, but he was able to survive. So kind of, again, like his redemption story, him leaving the Pride Land, coming back to defeat Scar. All great. Timon and Pumbaa, pretty funny characters as a whole. I feel that, I will say they do get on my nerves from time to time, but like, or whatever. Okay, let's just continue on. They're just supposed to be the comedic relief. So, yeah, I mean, I will say it's probably the best movie they've ever made, period. Funny enough, it was supposed to be more darker than it should have been. The ending was supposed to be completely darker than it should have been. So the original ending, the one that we all know and love, is Scar and Simba. They're fighting on the top of the Pride Lands. Simba's able to push off Scar onto the bottom, and all his coyote friends end up eating Scar. Okay, it was supposed to be much darker. The original ending was supposed to be that Scar kills. He kills Simba by throwing him off the ledge of the Pride Rock, and then the flames just engulf him and the rest of the coyotes or hyenas. That's technically what they are, hyenas. In fire, and everybody basically dies. I'm like, I was thinking that is so goddamn dark. Like I was thinking, they did pretty dark when they transformed that boy into a donkey Pinocchio, but this would have topped the cake and like most fucked up dark ass shit Disney movies, and they've done some pretty dark ass shit Disney moments. In like they have some pretty fucked up Disney moments as a whole, but that would have probably topped the cake. So yeah, I mean when you want to. Oh my! I wonder how that would have been. I wonder how that would have been animated. But yeah, but then again, Lion King has some pretty dark moments as it is. I mean, the Scar song, "Be Prepared," is basically a bunch of Nazi propaganda. I guess is that the right word? Not propaganda, but that's basically like Nazi culture, Nazi symbolism. That's the word. I mean, you have the hyenas just kind of marching, and just the whole thing. Like you've seen that in like Hitler videos. So it's like a bunch of Nazi symbolism. So I'm like, that's pretty fucking dark. So yeah, I mean, when you want again, Lion King had its dark moments, but I'm pretty sure if they had gone with the ending they wanted to, it would have been really fucking dark and really fucking messed up. So yeah, Lion King obviously is gonna be the #1 best Disney movie they've ever made thus far. So yeah, just to go over the list one more time, honorable mentions, we have The Fox and the Hound, Treasure Planet, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, James and the Giant Peach, The Great Mouse Detective, The Jungle Book, A Goofy Movie, Robin Hood, Big Hero 6, Bolt, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Meet the Robinsons, Alice in Wonderland, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and 101 Dalmatians. Number 10 is Tangled. Number 9 is Frozen. Number 8 is Dumbo. Number 7 is Pinocchio. Number 6 is Tarzan. Number 5 is Aladdin. Number 4 is Cinderella. Number 3 is Wreck-It Ralph. Number 2 is Peter Pan. And number 1 is The Lion King, or Lion King. So, yeah, that is it. That's basically it. If you guys want to see my top 10 favorite Pixar movies of all time, again, I'll leave an annotation somewhere here in the video for those who want to check it out. Yeah, that's basically it for now. What are your top 10 favorite Disney movies of all time? Comment all that down below. Let me know. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And yeah, subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share, and that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.